it's only going to get better because it can take 20 documents, tons of PDFs, trainings, material, and create your own custom tutor, whether it's for travel, maybe it's for a career growth idea and you want to give it all case studies, study material, and create your own. Each different AI has a capability, and you just have to know what you want to do.
Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I am your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Right. Welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl. I am so excited today to talk about this topic, and I hope everyone wants to talk about this topic too, because
Jessica, I have to say you're excited for every topic.
I am.
You're very excited for all the topics.
Because these days, this is the highlight of my week, by the way. So I'm so glad to see your faces. And we have a new face today, my friend Maria. And I just want to jump into this AI conversation. So I hope that you guys really get something out of this today and let us know, because I think this is an important conversation. So if you came to hear something else and you're like, AI, you better stay right there and listen to this.
So helpful.
So yes, I want to give her a proper introduction here. I'm going to butcher her last name because I don't have an accent like I should. I blame my mother. Shout out to Pauline for not
teaching you proper Spanish enunciation.
Right. Maria Antonieta Cruz is a bilingual client experience and communications strategist specializing in AI-driven customer engagement, CRM optimization, and inclusive digital strategy. With a background in SaaS and automotive tech, she brings a human-first approach to AI, blending data with empathy to drive measurable outcomes. So Maria holds a MA in organizational management and is a recognized DEI advocate and speaker, known for translating complex technology into impactful people-centered solutions. So welcome, Maria, to the Lead Like a Girl show. We really appreciate you showing up today, spending some time with us and talking about AI, because I don't know about you ladies, but do you guys remember our first AI conversation? Corlin, you're better at remembering things than I am, but either one of you?
Don't call her an elephant.
Throwback to episode 33 or something.
I know.
I remember the first time that I was in a networking group and we're working on a project, and a couple of the younger people in our group kept on floating around this like, oh, I'm just going to throw it in ChatGPT. And I'm like, oh yeah, you should do that. No idea what they were talking about at all, like zero clue. Yeah. And they would spit out all these great ideas, all this different content. And I'm like, how did you do that fast? Oh, ChatGPT. And then finally I went online and researched, what is ChatGPT? And I mind blown.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to start with just a quick question, and anybody can answer this, but what is one way that you have secretly used AI that maybe you wouldn't admit on a first date? What do you got?
Can it just be in general? I don't know the last time I went on a first date.
I know.
It's been 14 years for me. So.
I will say an interesting thing that I used ChatGPT for, or AI for, was when I got invited to do that judging of the lip sync contest here in our town, that I was talking with one of my co-judges, and we're like, so like, what kind of things do people say? And so I got on, I'm like, ask ChatGPT, if I'm a judge for a lip sync contest, what are some of the most popular things that judges say when they're commenting on their acts? 20 different ideas on like all the different ways, if they're great, if they're horrible, if you're trying to let them down softly but still be nice, like all the different things. And it sounded, and I used some of them, and it sounded pretty authentic.
Love it. Jamie?
That's great. That's great.
Okay.
I would always, every time I was trying to like brainstorm on ideas, it's like if I sat down and I tried to think of ideas for whatever it was, new podcast idea, or it was, a paper, or I was trying to think of a training exercise or whatever it was, I would sit there and it's like, if I was trying to think up the ideas, I couldn't, but I'd be sitting there, on the sofa at 10 o'clock at night watching House or something. And like, it would come to me then, and I'd have to grab my notebook and I have to write everything down. And so that's when I would jump on ChatGPT and like type it in and go, oh, cool. Like I can just have it now. I don't have to actually think through all the things. Like, I mean, I still do that a little bit, but it's so easy.
So,
And I'm sure we'll get to this a little bit, but don't you think that that's like the downplay for all of the access to this is that it's killing our creativity a little bit, and that delayed gratification is just getting squashed.
I feel a bit like guilty about it because it's like, I think, remember when we first started thinking about what topics we would want for our episodes. And I remember I had a whole list of like 15 things, and I kept thinking up like the titles to the episodes, and I was like so excited.
Using your little brain
for any of that. That was just like my brain. Now,
here
we are.
I feel totally different about this. I'll tell you my first big, maybe not necessarily. I've used it, by the way, for arguing with my husband, and being able to,
of course,
because he's smarter than me, but I'm wittier than him. But I just wanted it. Yeah. So I've used it for that.
That's a scary combination, for the record.
But the first time that I love this, I'm in a meeting, and I don't know, there's probably like 3 AVPs in this meeting, definitely higher executives. And we were just kind of talking about stuff, and I had things that I wanted to add to the conversation, right? But I just put it in ChatGPT and I just asked it, and which is what I do a lot of, is to rewrite my original thoughts. So 9 times out of 10, I'm starting with my original thoughts. And I didn't learn that. I just started my own thoughts. Long story short, I raised my hand in the thing, and of course, because of our direct buy training, I have this gift that you would never know that I'm reading, and I'm reading right off the paper. And I read everything off the paper, and I swear I'm never the smartest person in the room, but that day I was the smartest person. And everybody was just like, oh my gosh, that is so great. And I'd like to talk to you later about that. I mean, just you put it so nicely. That was very well
running this company.
And I was like, and this was back where I guarantee you nobody in that call had any idea what the heck. Even if I would have told them what I did, they would have had no idea. I think my first exposure to it was probably from one of my kids. But anyway, so that was my first thing. What about you, Maria? Tell us. I know you're an expert, a strategist, all that stuff, but what was your first experience with it?
Clippy, do you guys remember him in Microsoft?
Oh yeah.
No.
The little paper clip.
The paper clip. It was in the 2000s. Yeah. So, I mean, he was the beginning. But if we talk about large language models, which is what OpenAI is known for, that type of technology, I'd say, 3 years has just catapulted from where it started. I laugh. I'm like 7-digit finger creations and 2 heads and just, yeah. So it was a lot of the image generation for me because I love digital photography and design. So Dolly, I think, was the first that I saw. And then GPT, just, yeah, I also started hearing it. But I've always been kind of like on the pulse of what the latest technologies are, from Meta using AI, Meta World coming into Amazon, AWS, so there's lots of different things. But when it comes to AI, the power of a compendium of human knowledge, right? I mean, that's what it truly is as a tool
Yeah.
that we can access. It reminds me of, have you all seen The Time Machine? Where he travels back and the only thing he's like, has access to is this library hologram, and it's the compendium of human knowledge. So it reminds
Hmm.
me of that. Like that's what we have access to. But it's been every day I spend at least 2 to 3 trying to learn something new, whether it's image generation, a new model, a new AI group information. So it's been lightning speed, hasn't it? I mean, phew.
It's
I'm so glad people like you exist because
right.
like because I feel like please learn everything
Right, I was gonna
so
say,
that
Maria,
can I
Jamie's
just
gonna
know
be
you for an
texting
hour
you.
and you just tell
Right.
me?
No, Jamie's gonna be texting you tomorrow, just so you know. Be prepared, Maria. But I do
Love
want to
it.
start off, and you kind of went into this a little bit, and I want to just kind of break it down to the like lowest common denominator here. Like, what is AI really? Because I know there's a lot of myths out there. There's even some fear out there. It's like taking over the world, all the crazy stuff. But just just give us a clear breakdown of what is AI, right? And maybe even breaking it down so that people know that this isn't really a new thing. How has AI existed in our everyday life for years and years and years, maybe in areas that we didn't even realize was AI?
I think that it even has to go back to when we started using the internet.
Okay.
I'd say that, we started to dabble into AI. I mean, if you even look at science fiction movies, there was AI, the movie, and then it was all about that leading to where we are today, truly. So, I mean, it's revolutionized, like I said, from my recalls. I'm gonna age myself, but I remember having a floppy disk.
Yeah.
I remember AOL
Yeah, same.
chats, so all those things. And now all of a sudden, if we're going to kind of, understand it, this group has taken so much information, like an encyclopedia of everything that we know, and that's why there's all these copyright laws like, no, don't use my information to be part of that. But the group really wanted to have access so that we all have an equal playing field. And, that's what it's done. So large language models, you hear of these various, you have ChatGPT, OpenAI, Google has Gemini, you have Perplexity, you have Claude, you have Microsoft Copilot. So these are all different large language models, each extracting lots of data. And so the fear of a artificial intelligence emotional capable of taking over the Skynet, basically.
I mean, we all saw it coming down in Terminator. I
Right.
mean,
I mean,
legit
yeah,
in
I was
the
like,
90s.
thanks for throwing out Skynet, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think that the new huge supercenter in Texas is actually Stargate. So it's supposed to be this massive AI center. So this data, they're using so much data, it's available to us. I mean, we see it when you say you go to ChatGPT, you put one question, all of a sudden 3 seconds you have like a 5-page newsletter if you prompt it right. So it's only going to get better because where we started, oh no, sorry, I can't take one document. Now I can take 20 documents. Google's Notebook LM, for example. You can take tons of PDFs, trainings, material, and create your own custom tutor, whether it's maybe for travel, maybe it's for a career growth idea and you want to give it all case studies, study material, and create your own. Each different AI has a capability, and you just have to know what you want to do. If I want to be an image creator, I'm going to go to Midjourney. I'm going to go to Ideogram. If I want design, I'm going to go to Canva. So it's just what exactly you're trying to, all four of us could be approaching AI in a whole different ideation of it and how to use it. You could be
Yeah.
real estate. I could be marketing. Somebody could be doing, I'm going to be doing travel plans and getting a list of all the travel that comes out tomorrow morning, prices within this range for these dates, and boom, it's in your box the next day. And that's where, if we went further, agentic AI has come in. but large language models as a whole give us data, and each one of those houses data that we can access. So
Wow. I
Oh my
see
gosh.
all of that. I'm already, yeah, exactly. So when we think of what are some things that people may not realize that before this chat GPT was a thing, and maybe you maybe said this with Amazon, what would you say are one or two, whatever, household names that people didn't realize were AI before it was a thing?
great question. Well, Google. I would say that
Okay.
Google was one of the largest ones because it gave us instant access. We didn't have to proxy or find data a certain way. So Google, Facebook became the next big of these that can gather data, analyze data, aggregate data, and then analyze it.
And that's all it is. That's all it's doing in plain
Yeah.
words. What about Netflix?
Netflix, well, again, they're basing it, on algorithms and exactly. If we're talking in terms of the algorithm within each one, right, it's a distinction of what I'm doing. At the end of the day, it's data and what data and how do we manipulate that data. So yeah, is it data coming in and we're taking that information like, hey, everybody that's accessing OpenAI, they have access to our IPs, our email addresses, everything we've researched. I'm sure there's some sort of a huge compendium on each one of us, right? Where you can say, okay, in 49423 area, what's the most common search by, so same way.
What
How
were you
about
going to
that
say?
thing where, so there's Alexa, right, that listens to us, and then
Yeah.
we've got Google and we've got Netflix and we've got all of our different smartphones and everything is connected. This is probably off topic, but I have to ask you this. So when you're talking about, I want a recipe on how to make pancakes, and all of a sudden you get a Facebook post about how to make pancakes, like how is this all connected, and why are they all listening to me? Like, you know what I
Well,
mean?
but
How
Jamie,
does that?
is that off topic, Maria, or is this
No,
AI that's showing up?
it is because the more, even today, for example, I don't know if you ladies are doing this or not, but I have Bing on my phone. And when I go onto Bing, I literally can have a whole conversation. And I laugh because South Park just had an episode of that where he's sleeping next to his wife and having a conversation with his chat GPT. He's like, "Good night, sweetheart." And the GPT answers. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, honey, am I getting to be that?" But you can have, I'll have conversations with my Bing assistant, and it knows. And the funny part of that, and I don't know if you can hear it now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try this and show you. So I can tell it, speak to me in Italian, right? So, or I want to learn a new language and I want the accent. So here it goes. Let me see if you can hear this. Hi, can you tell me how to say, how are you in Italian?
In Italian, you can say come stai if you're talking to someone informally, or come sta if you're addressing them more formally. It's a nice, simple phrase to start
Now,
off a conversation.
I'm going to interrupt you, but I want you to talk to me as an Italian. Yes?
Certamente.
So, but the other day I had these questions about coffee. Where did it originate? What are the different toasts? What is it, a seed or is it a plant? So I sit there and I have these conversations that just answer the itch in my brain.
So I think what Jamie was asking is how is this thing,
Yeah.
or how is your phone, or how are they knowing what we're doing without doing what you're doing?
Oh, sure, for sure. There's components within our phones and we've allowed them access to our data, right? Like the cookies, enable for them to listen. They have the algorithm set so that they can, it's not only your search, but also hearing what you're saying because your phone is listening.
So that is a real thing.
It is definitely a real thing. Yes.
Okay. So that's crazy.
I was told by one of our IT professionals that anything that you get for free, you're actually paying in some way, shape, or form. So if it's an app that you have that you are not paying for, you're paying by giving them your data.
Oh, and that's the worst part, that right now there's that huge new threat that a lot of folks are putting in personal information. Don't put your socials, don't put your personal tax information, because this information is still able to be hacked, and they can extract all of that and reverse engineer all of your passwords and all of that information because it's learning everything about you. So don't give it everything about you.
Oh, you're saying put that information, don't put that information in like a chat GPT or something because
Correct.
it's storing that information one way or the other.
Mhm.
That's it. You got it.
So, Maria, our tagline is empowering the everyday woman through our stories. And so I think that I want to sit here and blow the minds of some of our listeners that have never used AI, never used GPTs, never used this type of technology to help them. So if you're talking to the everyday woman, we are professionals, we're moms, we're wives. I think that my perception of AI is I use it like my assistant. Like if I could use it to make my life easier, how does that work? What are your some of the out of the box, like obviously we're all familiar with ChatGPT and we can help that, but what are some of the out of the box ways that an everyday woman can actually really level up their process, procedure, how we do life, just to make everything more efficient so we can do our lives better and faster?
So again, I think it just has to do with each individual mind because AI is capable of, I'm not going to say everything, but accessing and giving you information for everything. So say, for example, oh, I remember this cheesecake that my grandmother used to make, and I kind of remember that she put a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. Now I can tell it, act as a cook, and I want you to act as a Mexican cook. I can even get further. And I want you to give me cheesecake recipe like my abuela in the Mexican tradition. Boom, there's a recipe
Oh,
right
I
there.
love that example. I'm going to use that to see if I can get my grandmother's tamale recipe. That's a good
Yes.
one.
And you can tell it
Better
even
than neck
further.
bones.
Give me
I
step
made
by
that
step.
today. Just disrespectful on neck bones, Jamie.
Or if you're not, you're not very, let's say that you don't know where to start on something, whether it's an idea. I want to start a business as an example, and I really don't know where to start. I want GPT, Copilot, wherever we're going in our, I'll continue using ChatGPT since it's the mostly used, but I'll go in and I'll say to it, okay, I want you to structure a 6-month learning, find all these free resources of learning for X, Y, or Z. Digital marketing. No, I want to learn how to code. No, I want to learn, uh, again, X, Y, or Z. And we can tell it, I want you to treat me like one of these books for dummies, for example, and really break it down for me. You know, and if you feel like it's just being very robotic, tell it, hey, also throw in some sass and be a little bit more human for me. Boom. Now it's also being more empathic, understanding, and again, it's learning.
Yeah. Core, we've talked about this before. When I first started using it, you talk about being an everyday mom or, being busy, all of that. I have used it for meal prep. So someone could say, hey, this is what I have in my freezer. I have some ground beef. I have some drumsticks. I have rice, potatoes, and here are the vegetables I have. Can you plan me out, the meals for my family of 4 for the whole week? Boom. So there's a great example. Exercises.
I love that.
Well, back then I was like, okay, I'm on 1,200 calories a day. These are the foods that I have. These are the foods that I do not like. Exercise. I am. By the way, I'm going to stop right now. I was supposed to do this at the beginning and I totally forgot. I just want to say happy birthday, Corlin. Tomorrow.
That came right out of left field, didn't it now? And I'm going to say happy birthday, Jessica. While we're at it,
Yes,
happy
Friday.
birthday, Sophia.
Your birthday gifts are sitting literally on my desk right here, and Sophia was tasked with putting them in the mail tomorrow. So I bought them a week ago, and they're still sitting on my desk. But
Well, they would
They're
still
here.
be sitting on my desk. Your next birthday.
excerpt from the
Mine.
podcast. It's like
Yeah,
your birthday
so-
gifts are right
Sorry, I'm heck of random, but
Maria, is it your birthday also?
Nope.
No, I didn't even think about that, Jessica. You brought that up. I was thinking about as you were talking. Like, I've never tried to use AI for like a workout
oh yeah.
plan.
So here's the
Like,
thing too.
give me
So-
a 5-day plan to,
No, but here's the
get
thing,
ready
the
to run or
more
whatever. Yeah.
specific that you are. So I am, what made me say that, because I was about to say I'm 47. Am I 47, Cortland? I don't even freaking know.
Correct.
Okay. So my problem, Maria, is I
Youngsters.
lied about my age so much I don't know how old I am, but I know she knows. So I am a 47-year-old woman. I weigh 158 pounds as of this morning. And I need to burn fat. And I'm looking to, firm my butt, whatever it is, be more specific in what you want it to do. And the only thing I have is a mat and, 10-pound dumbbells in my garage. And you see what I did? Like, the more information that you can give it, and
That's
like
it.
even what Maria was saying, give it work as you are a professional trainer and your expertise is women over 40, and write me a workout that I can do for the next 30 days that I can do in my garage. And I'm telling you, if you're the listener out there that you have not got into this thing, you're going to be blown away. It's going to be a little weird. You're going to be like, holy shit, like where? And so those are a couple things that I can see someone using it for in their everyday lives. I want to get into some myths. What are some myths or just stupid stuff that you guys have heard that you want Maria to kind of talk on when it comes to AI? What have you heard?
Well, there's a lot of limitations. Sometimes it'll say, I can't do that. But then you go to Grok and Grok allows you to do everything. But
Grok, who's Grok?
Grok is Twitter. So
Oh,
Twitter X now, or sorry, formerly Twitter, now X. Yeah. So they have Grok, their AI. And that's the whole push that Elon Musk was his AI agenda. But when you go into their site, which is really interesting, when you go to Twitter or X again, you go to the Grok at the bottom, and it's also a large language model. But the interesting part of that is that, for example, if you go to Bing and you prompted something, it might be like, sorry, no, that's against our guidelines. But then you go on Grok, and Grok's like, yeah, we can do that.
wow. So what would you recommend for the ladies out there that are just getting started? Like you said, ChatGPT was kind of like what everybody knew. But when you think of the one that can do the most or the easiest one to use for someone who's not so, tech savvy or whatever, like where would you suggest? Is it downloading an app? Where would you say someone starts today?
Yes, I personally think that Bing Copilot within Bing is the best application to start with, because not only does it have AI imagery and it gives you different abilities within AI imagery, it has videos, it has solving math problems, and then as you saw, you can interact with your AI assistant as well.
Okay, so you think and is this an app?
Yeah, Bing, Bing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So
and that like brings me to another question, which is kind of the opposite from what you said, which is, when is it not appropriate, right? So I have a high school student who's writing papers and writing speeches, and I'm trying to craft things that I'm sending to like my supervisors and things like that. So like when is it like a faux pas, right, to use AI? And is it a faux pas, or is this just the way things go?
she's getting excited.
I'm like,
right?
well,
You know what I'm saying?
no, I agree. Well, and it goes into this topic of like slop, right? So AI slop, and we were talking about this earlier, Jessica, of how like people will just say, "Oh, this looks great. AI did this." You won't even review it. Copy to maybe through Grammarly. Double check it, please. No, this looks great. Let me put it in there. It'll even have the prompt sometimes, like, oh yeah, thanks for that article that shows your prompt.
Have you guys?
It's like, I'm an idiot. Can you clean this up and then copy and paste?
Yes. Please don't. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off because I have an opinion of what Jamie said, but go ahead, Maria.
No, go ahead.
Well, this is my opinion. And this is funny because I have a little smarty pants 12-year-old, and he gets all A's and he does all his work and he's so proud of that. But he came to me to help him. And nowadays, I don't know sixth or seventh or whatever grade he's in. I don't know their work. Okay. And especially when he's like, no, that's not how you do this. And my teacher says, so there's this whole new thing that I'm out of that. Right. So I said, you know what, dude? like, why are you asking me when there's Chat GPT and all that other stuff? And he's like, I can't use that. I'm not allowed to use that. So I went through a whole thing with him. And again, I don't know that this is right, but I told him that I believe that they really should start teaching it in school now, because if they don't, he's going to be behind. So I said, I'm going to teach you. It is not cheating. It is, see, to me, it's the person who can get the information the fastest and know how to use it ethically. This is how I told him. So how I use it, I said, start with your original thought. Even if the thought is wrong, you always have an assignment prompt. And this is what the prompt is. This is what I think it is. And ask it to give you a better explanation or close the gaps in your understanding. And I said, and then whatever it spits out, then you take that, Mr. Smarty Pants, and you make that better. And whatever that version is what you turn in. But I am not against you using it. I don't need you to take 5 hours to do an assignment that you can do in 5 minutes. I welcome that. And I think that makes you smarter, not how much you can wreck your brain to do it yourself. So that's my opinion. I think this is where the world is going. And you just have to understand how to use the tool ethically. And these people that like bang their chest on, well, I did this and I've heard this and I did it without AI. Okay, because to me, you're the stupid one, because how long did that take you? So that's how I feel about this whole, am I cheating? And
it's working
no.
smarter, not harder.
Okay.
100%.
And there's still an element of having to present the idea. So I think, especially in the student land, there's going to be a shift of these kids having to just turn in paper after paper and fill out things, that they're going to be forced to communicate the ideas that they're presenting and speak through it. So I almost wonder if there's going to be a retroactive, where it used to be like everyone used to talk through the ideas, and now we used to write them, and now we're going back, well, now we can write really easy. Now we're going to have to speak to each other and actually communicate out loud ideas, which will be a great coming to terms with all of the different information that we have. Because to your point, Maria, there is so much messy trash on AI, even in just the little bit that I use it, that I ask it questions. I'm like, that is one, not my point of what I was trying to make. And two, this doesn't even make any sense. They have lots of ideas, but sometimes it doesn't flow correctly, or it doesn't really support the idea of where you're going. So there is this level of sifting through all of the data, which takes time and intelligence to be able to come up with your cohesive thought that's applicable to your business. But as you teach the system what you're looking for, then I feel like I've gotten better answers as I've given it correct prompts, and also went behind the scenes. Maybe you can speak a little bit to this, is programming. Okay, these are when I want to talk about Lead Like a Girl, this is my point of view. This is what my voice sounds like. This is the output. So then when I ask it questions in my Lead Like a Girl project, I don't have to keep giving it the same prompts. It knows what I'm looking for.
And that would be where we would get a little bit more technical. And I would say, let's create a notebook, or let's create a custom GPT, because that is something that we can do where you train it on a very specific subject. And that's where ChatGPT users have a little bit of advantage. Google just came out with what they call GEMS, which is similar. And it's being able to create your own ecosystem of what you want, and for it to remember that information. So that does, that is definitely something that exists. So that was great. I
Wow.
agree with you.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit, because I don't know that we did a good explanation of this term, work slop. Okay. Jamie, have you heard it before? Have you heard that term?
No.
Okay. So, Corlin, have you heard it? Of course you have. You've heard it, right?
Yes.
It's all over the news. Of course.
So am I behind?
Don't try to like information shame me.
No.
Don't information shame me. What?
No. And the only reason why I know it is because I've been doing research and TikTok videos on this topic, specifically preparing for this, Jamie. But what it is, and we said it a few minutes ago, but I want to be clear, because if you are the person who you are doing emails or work assignments or projects or whatever, and you're using Chat GPT or whatever it is that you're using, and you're just copying and pasting, you, whoever you are, you may be part of the problem of this work slop. And so pay attention and please do better, because what people are saying about you is that you're making it harder for everybody else around you. This thing is supposed to be helping us work smarter, right? And being more efficient. And your contribution is not helping. It's actually making it worse. So please,
I will
please,
tell you
please.
a really good story of this. I was preparing, this was like a couple months ago. I was preparing for just a short little talk that I was doing, and it was based on a book or a theory. And I was just looking, I was like, hey, can you give me a couple quotes that would support this theory? And ChatGPT listed out quotes, and then I wanted a fact check. I'm like, give me the reference that this quote is from. And it said, oh, literally, ChatGPT said, I'm sorry, that actually wasn't a verbatim quote from this author. But if you want an actual verbatim quote from the book, then you can look at, and then the verbatim quote that it kicked out wasn't even the point that I wanted to make. So had I not done that extra due diligence, I would be lying basically, or misquoting something that fit what I was trying to say, but it wasn't what that author said. And it really wasn't the point of view that author had. And so you have to really be careful on the kind of information that you are getting from these sources. And just, I would say it's reliable, but not 100% all the time,
So
depending
like
on
it's not
who
like a
you're searching.
trusted source.
I'm going to share with you,
Maria,
ladies,
what
some
would you
really,
say?
well, I'm going to share with you this is interesting and aligning with this, with AI slop and normalcy, right? AI use normalcy. Went recently on Friday to a leadership for the West Michigan Hispanic Conference. And here's some data that I took down from this. 70% of job skills are going to change within 5 years per IBM 2024. 86% of organizations are transforming their roles through AI. In fact, actually, Cox recently just announced we're now an AI company. A lot of companies are having the stands and saying we're being driven. But here was what was interesting. 77% of professionals lack AI training. 77. So that just means that area is still evolving. There's still, ethical questions, moral questions. Do we allow our children? Yes, I agree with you, Jessica. I told my daughter the same thing. Like, ask it to reverse engineer the problem for you. Take a screenshot, a picture of that math problem, upload it, tell it to explain it to you. But then I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to ask you what it is that you learned, right? To make sure that it's actually working as a tool and not just being unethical. So it's going to continue to be, I think, down that path.
Yeah. So back to Orland's point. So I think there's two parts of the slop thing before we
Yeah.
move on. One is the fact checking part of it. And I don't know if there is one AI. I know that I heard Perplexity was a little more accurate. The times that I've used Perplexity, what I like is it actually cites the information and gives you where it got the information from. And I don't know, and I've clicked on it to check it that way, but I know I've never witnessed that on ChatGPT. So that's the first part of it. The second part that I was really speaking of, Cora, is that when you're just putting information out there, like say, for example, it was a work project and it's just sloppy because you copied and pasted. So I just want people to know that it is a tool, just like anything else. It's not designed to literally do your work for you. There are some things, for example, an email, but I won't even say that because I've never used it that way. I've always written my email and then asked it to rewrite it and not sound so catty. So
I'll tell you too. I actually I had a little incident with somebody that I worked with and I was a little fired up and I gave like 4 bullet points of the situation. I'm like, can you write me a response that I should send in this email based on this information? And it kicked me out like whatever it said. And I'm like, actually, can you turn it up and make it a little bit more catty? one and gave me back option 2. And I'm like, actually, can you actually make it a little bit more so the person I'm talking to really understands that I'm not going to accept this kind of behavior? And cranked it up a 3rd time. And so I had option 1, polite, option 2, a little catty, and option 3, I'm probably going to get fired. But it was actually in that whole line of thinking actually helped me de-escalate because I got what I said via my chatbot, but also still have my job.
Yep. So anyway, point is there's the work slop. Hopefully that's helpful for someone. It's useful. We got some everyday use cases for, moms with dinner and workouts, summarizing meetings, writing drafts, that type of stuff. What else do we want to get into? I know we have a little bit of time left. What do you ladies got?
I say we go for it. Maria, talk to us about the things we don't know. We've talked about kind of the simple like meal plans, like Jessica said, kind of the easy stuff that we can use to make our lives more efficient. But what are the things that we don't know? What are some of the things that are practical yet maybe a little bit level 2 that we can start leveling ourselves up? Maybe it's for our roles at our jobs or in life. What are we missing? Blow our minds with something that's happening that we should know about.
Awesome. Yes, I think that's an awesome idea. Here, let me share with you. I'm going to share my screen for a second, actually, because I'd like to share something here on my screen.
Well, if you want to see this, by the way, you're going to have to go to Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube and subscribe so you can see our screen. Go ahead. Sorry.
There we go. Awesome. And that way you would then be able to see the labs.google. I highly recommend that because from here you're able to play around with these tools. And some of them you do have to subscribe, but a lot of these, if you click on view all, you can look at the create. So from creating your own app, your own music flow, for example, you can create a whole a video sequence. You have video effects right here, which is also video generation. Image effects is amazing. So there's one that I really like, which is actually a career explorer. So if you click on explore.
So not to cut you off, I have a quick question.
Please.
So basically this feels like just a sandbox to play in if you're exploring all these different AI tools.
Bingo. That's exactly how I would say it, because you can now come in and learn, conversational AI on YouTube, AI overviews. They have, as I mentioned, they have a career learn, here it is, Career Dreamer. I love this one. It's a tool that uses AI based on possibilities of careers that you might like. So if you want to go into academic paperwork, so you've heard me mention one of the ones I like, which is the Notebook LM. So once you just launch into any of those particular models, you can just come in here, learn a little bit about, how to upload your sources, insights. Again, I highly recommend folks to check out Notebook LM. To me, folks use it for so many case scenarios, whether it's booking, whether it's studying. You can listen, you can turn podcasts with Notebook LM. So it's definitely a tool that I highly recommend out of all of the tool sets here. And
wow. And what's this website?
It's labs.google.
Labs.google. And that is free, but some of the things and some of the actual, what do you call these things?
Sure. Some of the apps and some of the actual large language models, right? The GPT.
Okay. So these are all AI apps in one place. If you wanted to kind of play around and just learn different AI apps that could be useful to you.
It's huge asset to learn for sure. And then, Coraline, you had mentioned what your story resonated with me with like, okay, so typically I think in Spanglish. Oftentimes I'll come back and forth. And sometimes I have to stop because I will talk it in Spanish and I have to, stop for a second. And so, but with that, so is my manner of expression, right? I don't know if it's, we say in Spanish, muy floreado, very flowered, very elaborate. And oftentimes the feedback I've had is bring it down, be more concise, right? So with that, there's this tool, and it's called Formalizer. And as you see, it's already in my tools here. And it's called goblin.tools/formalizer. There's no cost to it. But to your point, I think you are a terrible.
Oh, I already love this so much.
I think you're a terrible boss, and I really do not know how to talk to you because you scare me. Okay, cool. So when you can now come here and go to the little spice factor, what I call, you can get really spicy, or you can get, more professional, more technical, more polite. And so as you see, a whole series of more formals and formals.
Wow.
So
If you guys are listening to this, you're really going to want to go on YouTube and watch this episode.
This is amazing.
Right?
And here we go. Let's say, what do we say to that term? I feel that I find it challenging to communicate effectively with you and feel intimidated in our interactions. How's that? Bam.
I love it.
That's a
This
keep
is
my
so
job
good.
phrase.
That is a keep my job phrase. Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
Okay. So, listen, guys, this has been great. And I feel like we totally can do a part 2, but let's just talk about some takeaways here. Hopefully, if you're someone out there and you had questions about AI, hopefully you got some good nuggets here today where you could walk away and really feel empowered to learn something. So, AI is a tool. It's not a threat. It's not going to take your job unless you refuse to learn anything about it and all the other people are working faster than you because you're not using it. So, but you don't need to be a tech expert. I am a perfect example of that. I think it's just about being curious and being intentional, right? The future of AI needs diverse voices. So that includes you. And we didn't even get into that, guys, but remember that this thing is growing and developing based on the information that we are all giving it. So that's a whole nother show. It needs diverse voices. And if we're not using it, then there's only going to be one representation of voices of the people that are using it. But again, that's a whole nother show.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Start small.
Micro One is a company that is revolutionized, and actually they signed me up to do AI native Spanish voice language learning because they want the voice model to learn exact native languages. So it's coming. Thank
I
you,
love it.
Jessica, for having me.
And it was
So glad you were here.
And everybody,
yes,
Amy, Carlin, great to meet you both. Now I'm
Yeah,
part of the
absolutely.
dream team.
yes, you are. And listen, we always have repeat guests, so we're going to need to know more about this as this thing evolves. Maria, thank you for the work that you're doing in this space because again, it needs diverse voices, and we need to be able to have women out there in the workforce learning this and representing us. So thank you for that. And listen, you guys, let us know. Please send us messages, what you learned, what you loved about this particular episode, and Lead Like a Girl Lab, YouTube, subscribe, TikTok, Facebook, all of that. We're out there. Maria, any last minute thoughts, or if our listeners, where can they find you if they need help with what? So I know that there are some things that, you kind of help with in this space and your expertise. So tell our listeners where they can find you if they need help with what.
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I actually have an active AI blog that is AI from my desk to yours. And my LinkedIn is linkedin.com, Maria Antonieta Cruz.
And that is Antonieta, by the way.
Yes, Maria Antonieta Cruz. So I'm working actually on the website for it. So look forward to that.
Yes, coming soon. Thank you so
Thanks
much,
so
ladies.
much, Maria.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it.